Man, thank gods I'm back. I can't wait to get to bed. I love my job and all, but sometimes I wish it wasn't just my team and I who cared enough. Maybe a phase specialist would be nice. I'd probably lose my things way less if there were one. Oh? The next Nuzlocke&Load is starting soon? It's been a year already, huh? I want to join, but I've just been so busy lately. Alright, put me in for intermediate this time, I guess. Now, what's my schedule looking like this month? What is happening right now? What is this? Whatever it is, it's awfully convenient. Nuzlocke&Load graces us once again. In case you haven't seen my previous video on last year's Nuzlocke&Load, this is a massive Pokemon Nuzlocking event where over 100 streamers compete for the Nuzlocke with the least deaths and the best time. To keep it fair, the event is divided into 3 divisions based on the challenge you think you can handle. Those being Standard, Intermediate, and Hardcore. I might be an Intermediate right now, but now that my schedule is more open than I expected, I do plan on jumping into Hardcore later in the event. I was last year's Hardcore champ, so I have a title to defend. But the title's not all that I want. No. Last year I may have won it all, but this year I want to win it all. You see, in addition to the division winners, there's also plenty of other awards for doing other stuff. And the winners of those awards are announced and celebrated during an award stream hosted by the legend who created the entire event, Whistler. Shout out to my homie. But giving your achievements announced and celebrated in a public setting like that, you know what that sounds like? It sounds like free clout, and I am in dire need of clout. So, my goal this time around was to win as many awards as I could and take over that award stream. Here's this year's awards categories. I know, there's a lot of them, but I'll be focusing on ones I can control a bit more. So I'll be aiming for these awards. If I'm going to take these awards and dominate the award stream, I'll need a plan. A plan so vast, so devious, so efficient, so in-depth, and so ruthless that I can not only complete multiple runs, but guarantee myself the win in each. Almost. A good chunk of the awards are up to personal opinion, and those are voted on in the award stream. I'm going after 2 of them. Now, I can't guarantee something like that, but I can make it convincing enough to get a real shot at them. And so, I got to crafting my ultimate victory. There I was, lounging in my thinking chair, reaching the incomprehensible depths of my mind, allowing the inner machinations to develop into devilish plots as the hours pass, studying this video game made for children. I explored the countless options available in this vast game, testing each Pokemon, finding their optimal movesets, meticulously prepping for each trainer, failing hundreds of times whilst honing my plans into one final semi-genius guide. Whilst everyone else starts their real attempts, trying to beat the game like a bunch of chumps, I'm doing stupid things no one else even thought of. Speedrunning a party wipe. With blinding speed, I choose my appearance and name myself 1, saving precious seconds compared to a real name. There's 2 encounters in this run, which means there's 3 things I gotta name. Myself, my starter, and my Aspiration Hill encounter. By naming everything 1, I might have saved myself an entire minute. Who knows? Not naming them at all would be faster, but as per the rules, all Pokemon must be given a name. A rule I surprisingly did not struggle with this time. From here, it's just a matter of spamming A and playing decently fast until I reach my first decision in the route, the starter. I pick Rowlet. It's the fastest option. Being the only starter with a stab move on it means I can take down Volo in 3 hits instead of 4. And I do that. I'm finally let into the wild, but I'm not free yet. I could make my starter faint here, but according to the rules, the Nuzlocke does not begin until we return to the Obsidian Fieldlands after the tutorial. And from the tutorial, I chose to keep Starly, the frailest of the 3 options. With the tutorial officially over, I get rid of the non-encounters, box my starter, and Starly is sent to perish to Bidoof's super effective rollout, clocking the first run in at a decent 28 minutes in-game time. Yeah, that live split down there is pointless. We don't actually care about that for the event. That was just for the stream. There is a problem with the strategy, though. Bidoof would often do nothing with its turns, or fail to KO Starly, just wasting time. And this was really evident in the second run. Even with a lucky crit capture on the Shinx, putting me ahead of the first run, I actually got so unlucky later and ran out of wild Bidoof. But it did lead me to an even faster method. This level 6 Shinx. My third and final speedrun had no crazy luck, but this new Shinx method put me a full minute ahead of my previous best. The only things faster than this run were the speed of light and me in bed. Naturally, within the first few days of the tournament, I went on a week-long vacation, which is a huge chunk of time wasted given the amount of stuff I wanted to accomplish. So, I had to return more motivated than ever, downright possessed even. I did catch a lot of fish though, it was very fun. And so begins the longest stretch of my plan, the intermediate bracket genocide route. The goal is to finish the game with more deaths than anyone else. And for that, I'll also need to catch as many encounters as I possibly can. To do that, I made great use of this event's encounter sheet. Since this game has no truly random encounters, we were allowed to choose our encounters from a pre-made encounter sheet, which is awesome for planning ahead. Same general rules apply though. Just 1 encounter per area, only the first of that Pokemon that you see can be caught, and no duplicates. Also, if a Pokemon is above the current level cap, it is not an eligible encounter, and any of my Mons that are above that cap can't be used. Now, since the goal is deaths, there's almost no pressure to the battles in this run, so I won't get too into strategy yet. That'll be for the hardcore section. Let's get it. We start with an actual nickname this time, boy, that's me. And same goes for my Oshawott, who chat named Crotus. Bidoof will be my Ass Hill encounter, Ponyta in Horseshoe Plains, and Pichu in Floaro Garden. Pichu isn't really useful, but is nice for filling out the encounter sheet. And between Krobus, Fartbutt, and Dumbass, I was able to muscle through both Akari and Mai without losing anything important. Now, one of the most important encounters opens up. Starly. With the next boss being Alpha Kricketune, Starly's great type matchup and offenses should make this a breeze. Oh, fuck. Damn. Attack down. That's not good at all. Uh-oh. Well, now we have to sacrifice something. And that something is... Ponyta? Alright. Really? What was I thinking? Poop Wiener takes down Kricketune, and the level cap raises to 18. But no more Ponyta means we miss out on a free shiny. Alright, well, let's do that. And with how absurdly restrictive the shiny rules are in the event, that would have been the only shiny I could have caught. Rip Bozo. Time to single-handedly resolve the issues between two clans with insane beef. I catch a few mons on the way to beat Liam's ass. The Based clan lets me use their deer. And before I can save the Cringe clan's noble, their leader tries to stop me. I'll give credit to Irida. She makes it interesting, but Dumbass is simply too powerful. And by myself, I quell their noble's frenzy. Cause in the intermediate bracket, we're allowed to do that. Making all the noble fights 100% risk-free. One noble down. The world opens up a ton now, and I catch plenty of Pokemon, including Magikarp and Scyther. Alright, go far. My chance. Oh my god! But it's the Paris I caught earlier that got me through Akari without issue. Thundershot. Damn. And into the next area, the Crimson Mirelands, where I come across the man who taught me about backshots. He gets spanked. He starts telling me about women. Not interested. I steal their rock for an old lady, and then prepare myself to fight a bear. The plan was simple. Go in with a high-level Gyarados and overwhelm it. So I guess I'm starting with Dumbass. Fitting. After an underwhelming Water Pulse, I had to make a choice. Who would I sacrifice to let hard in cleanly? Bruce, our Crobat, the backup Mon to Staravia, would have to take the fall. Just like they wrote it up. Okay. Didn't even need Gyarados, apparently. Apparently, he's overrated. So overrated. Huh. Neat. So that opened up almost the entire Mirelands, and I go on a catching spree and grind up a bit. People. Yeah, I ain't fighting that, no. No, I ain't fighting that, no. But what's this? Second best girl, Arezu, is missing? Hold on, give me your leftovers. I know how to handle this. The Wallflower. A quaint little canteen in the heart of Jubilife, and the last known location of our missing Arezu. They said she came here for Benny's famous potato mochi, good enough to make any man cry. And going off of that, there might be just enough clues here to sniff out where she's gone. There you are. But let's not worry about how I found you, actually. That's not important. The important part is you're safe. Now give me those bombs. The second noble fight comes and goes without issue, and very quickly, the second noble is quelled. God, I love this rule set. A sizable level cap increase lets me power through Cringe Clan leader Irida and into Cobalt Coastlands. I'm able to capture quite a few Pokemon before I need to unlock Bastion Legion, and to get him, I needed a Dusclops, so we could make his favorite food. Dusclops doesn't count as an encounter in these rules, by the way. It's just needed to progress the game. But now we can traverse the seas. Oh, and a dog got stolen too. This gives me a bunch more Pokemon. Most importantly, I got Quillfish, who will become a vital part of the team sometime down the road. But for now, we have to fight a group of women on a volcano to get our dog back. I lead with Hot Ass, and it goes just as you'd expect for a Magmar fighting an Ice Grass type in a volcano. Next up is Coin and her Toxicroak. Hot Ass is fast enough to get a flamethrower in, then Wet 3 can finish it off with Zanhedra. The last sister, Charm, sends in her Rhydon, so I switch from Hot Ass to Dumbass, who destroys Rhydon and Gengar, leaving these three sisters beaten. I won the Arcanine fight. It's probably the easiest noble fight in the game. And with that, the level cap raises to only 40. Just 4 levels higher. And it's all because of my sworn enemy, Melly. Stupid fucking face. It's not enough he's the most hateable character ever written into a Pokemon game. Making him a very well-written character, by the way. With his massive ego, his stupid, dumb face, the way he tries slowing us down or stopping us, his attempts to keep his noble Pokemon suffering in his frenzied state. And now he has the gall to keep my level cap at 40. Someone should kick his ass. Let's see, how much does that do? Perfect. Nice crit. Did not matter. Strong Bulldogs. Easy. But why don't we talk about someone way cooler than him? Ingo, who is one of the harder fights and kicked my ass so bad that I thought I might lose the run right then and there. Not something you want happening 20 hours into a run. I had the matchup advantage. However, I lacked levels. Bruce failed to KO, and took a ton of damage, though Machoke fell to recoil. Leech Life helped a bit, but with Bruce now paralyzed, it wouldn't fare well. Ass Blast cleans up Tangela, leaving only Gliscor. A Mud Bomb takes a small chunk out of Ass Blast and obscures Gliscor. I thought Calm Mind might help tank some damage, but a crit had other plans. I need Caesar to beat the endgame. So Fuxhard comes in and immediately gets poisoned. Great. An Aquatail should KO though. Maybe 69 Supreme can get a hit in, huh? Oh, no, I guess not. Bruce? Can you get a hit in? Oh god. The only healthy mon left is Barf. And if he goes down, the rest might all follow. I take my chances with the 95 accuracy Icy Wind on the obscured Gliscor. And it connects, allowing another turn to finish it with a guaranteed hit Water Pulse.
And this Water Pulse that never misses.
Was way too close.
I'm so goated. See, Icy Wind is a good move.
After my team got obliterated, I caught some mons and even failed to catch some.
Crit capture. We're goated. We're goated. Damn. Okay.
Then, I ended that stream and took the time to train up some backup plans and start on my journey to true drip. And with this newfound drip, I Mog Melee, leading Gargle to take down his Zubat with a heroic sacrifice.
There we go.
And the rest is cake. The Noble Electrode is slightly less cake, but at least my Pokemon aren't at risk for these. So that's cool. The Akari fight goes according to plan, and I'm finally into Alabaster Icelands. I went on a quick catching spree.
I'm looking for a Snover. Snover. Barely know her. I should be shot.
Tore through Gareth with Fuxhard and Ass Blast. Crazy Style soloed all of Sabi's Pokemon, and Fuxhard KO'd Braviary to unlock the power of flight. With my level cap raised to 56, it was time to catch the remaining encounters that were previously above my level cap, including some static alpha Pokemon, which count as additional encounters in this rule set. And on my quest, I even found a
There
shiny.
you are.
Oh, that feels good. Then the time came for the final Noble, the Kaiju-sized Avalugg. This is the hardest Noble fight yet. So difficult, in fact, that I opted to battle it late in the fight to skip its final phase. And Ass Blast completely dominates him. We're in the endgame now. With the level cap raised yet again, I try my hand at a static alpha in Coronet Highlands. And it, of course, doesn't work out for us. The Highlands hate me, I swear. And next is another important encounter. An encounter I worked for purely because the effort of getting one would result in a shout-out during the award stream. Spiritomb.
I jumped his ass.
The world falls apart. But worry not. Goat Clan leader Adaman is helping me fix it. I beat Alpha after Alpha after Alpha. And Adaman suffers migraine after migraine after migraine. What a guy. Before the final few battles, I must do something even more important yet. I have to complete my drip. And to do that, I must beat Rai in battle.
Alright, Rai, let's test your aura. Damn, you suck.
Perfect. Benny tries to strike me down, but I'm mogging him much too hard. He can't handle my drip, nor my Pokemon. My aura proves too great for Komodo as well. The matchups simply overwhelm him, and soon he is beaten. And we can challenge a god. It was over fast. Then the next god arrived. I'd like to say this fight was easy, and it usually is. It's usually hard to keep it going to see the final phase. But this time, I was getting absolutely rocked. I took hit after hit until I was just one hit away from blacking out. I was just milliseconds away, probably, from failing that fight. But that's a good thing, actually, because that would be my nomination for the closest call award. Let's go, boys. The main story finally came to an end. However, this is not the end of the run. The run ends with Volo. And until then, I finished my nomination for the best outfit, and I also spent countless hours working towards the hardest awards to win. I went shiny hunting.
Here we go again. Got him! Let's go! What? Huh? You can climb trees? Oh, look at that. R.I.P. Celio. You're a real one. And we killed him. I saw it. What a shame. Losing it? Balls. Huh? Huh? What?
Only Volo remains. So it's time to throw away all my Pokemon, except for my chosen team. Mainly Cresselia. Let the slaughter commence.
Yeah. Damn. Okay. Figure out whatever Vulpix we have. Search for a shiny one. You were a real one. Wet through. So long, Barf. You were
goated. Love you, buddy. There we go. That's production. Oh, yeah. There we go. And the stealth rock. Get him. Rip hot ass. Better stats. Dang. Alright, give it up for death number 46, boys. Let's go. There we go. That's a good hit. Perfect. And the towers have fallen. Absolutely wild. Anyway, now it's time for Bolo. Berlin Wall destroys Volo's team as if they were nothing. But the real boss now appears before us. And it falls before the might of Berlin Wall. I have beaten Volo, deathless. Which was probably not great for my goals, but it had to be done for the flex. I'm sure you can understand. And my intermediate run came to a close with 70 total deaths. Oh, my plans had only just begun. The most sought-after prize of this event was next on my list. The Hardcore Division, first place winner. I was allowed to move up in difficulty without my previous run being invalid. Huge, but those runs wouldn't be eligible to place on the intermediate leaderboards. That's perfectly fair, not that my previous run would have placed well anyways. It was time to remind them why I was the hardcore winner last year. The hardcore run starts a little differently. My starter doesn't matter, as it has to be replaced by one of the 3 tutorial catches in Ass Hill. And I of course chose to run it back with Bidoof, who I named Foot. Hardcore players are also allowed another Ass Hill encounter, so I caught a starling, who I named Bird. Next on my list was Weasel. Its speed and decent attack would be huge for... Huh? Am I seeing things? So the first Akari fight goes well. Foot is the optimal choice here. The bulk comes in handy, and Bite keeps Pikachu from getting in too many attacks. Bite, 2 shots here, but if Foot gets paralyzed, the backup plan is our Shinx from Floro Garden. Mai is a very difficult fight. The only thing keeping it low stress is how early it is in the run, meaning I could restart with little consequence. At this point in the game, I only have access to a handful of mid-Pokemon, and at this level, none of them are safe from Munchlax. Its stab tackle and good coverage move and rollout, which causes fixation that boosts its power even more, can both inflict massive damage. I couldn't guarantee a deathless battle, but I did have a strategy to stack the odds in my favor. And it comes down to grit, arguably this game's most important mechanic. With every grit level comes a stat increase into that leveled stat, and these are notable stat buffs that can affect battles in significant ways. It's a difference of being one hit KO'd and tanking 3 hits like it's nothing. So, I have to make sure the Pokemon I need have as much grit as I can get. So in the starting areas, I would grind the lowest level Bidoof, Starly, and Wurmpools to get the least amount of experience possible per battle, and train my Pokemon one by one to maximize the amount of chances I had for Grit Dust to drop, until I had no choice but to face Mai. But at this point, Foot and Randall's defensive and offensive stats were raised to 3. I lead with Foot, and Bite is unimpressive, but now our improved defense shows, allowing another Bite. Foot wasn't fast enough to move twice in a row with Bite, so Randall comes in to finish the job with a few Aqua Jets. Kricketune was a fun fight to figure out. It stumped me for a long time, because it's a strong Pokemon at level 12. It usually goes first, and it has disgusting coverage moves that, in combination with strong or agile style moves, could instantly KO most Pokemon available to me. The plan had to be near perfect. Once again, I lead with Foot, who can tank a hit pretty well, and get in a bit of chip damage with Bite, a move that lowers the opposing Pokemon's initiative, or whatever it's called. Randall is now able to come in, and because of that Bite, can use Aqua Jet and get an extra turn. An extra turn I use to bring in Bird, the centerpiece of this plan. Kricketune hits us pretty damn good, but it's over. An unnecessary insurance quick attack into a free turn, and a super effective Aerial Ace seals it. Starly is the only Mon that can both hit Kricketune for good damage and doesn't immediately die to its attacks. If my Bidoof or Weasel couldn't get enough chip damage in for Starly to pick up the KO, then Drifloon was waiting to get at least one hit in. And if things turned worse, then Shinx was there as a sacrifice to get me back on track. Liam barely counts as a battle when you're this prepared. From now on, I'm just gonna skip most of the battles that are only about overpowering one Pokemon and have no semblance of challenge. So, on to the next, I guess. Irida is not as free of a fight as you might think. That Glaceon hits pretty hard and has Quick Attack to squeak in some extra damage here or there, and it could catch you by surprise and pick up a KO. Foot couldn't even tank as much as I wanted her to, so Randall has to come in, and god damn, he can't tank a hit either. But we get enough damage for Bird to come in and thankfully move before Glaceon, who could KO it with an Icy Wind or something like that. It definitely is not a free fight. And neither are the Nobles now. In the hardcore rules, we have to battle the Nobles at least once. So I had to come into each fight with a plan. My plan for Kleavor was Foot. The only one of my Mons who could tank enough hits and put in 2 super effective hits to take this thing down. What a beast. The rest is just me. I can finally show you my plan for Ursaluna, now that I did not mess it up. And yes, it is just using water moves with the best Nuzlocking Pokemon of all time, and several backups until it's over. The Noble fight is coming up next, and I make preparations by buying a few survival charms to boost my character's HP. One major rules difference between intermediate and hardcore is in intermediate, if you black out in the overworld from damage to your character, you get 2 extra lives. Hardcore gets no extra lives. I don't plan on losing to something dumb like that, so I have to be over-prepared. And for Lilligant, I am. A good chunk into the fight, I start a battle leading with Bird, who gets hit with a stun spore, but luckily fights through it like a champ, one-shotting Lilligant with Aerial Ace. If Bird were to fail here, Crobat is the most obvious backup plan that ever existed. Crazy speed, resists Lilligant's stab moves, and hits for super effective damage. What else do you need? The only thing keeping it from being the main plan was its lack of grit levels compared to Bird, who was sitting at 6s all around at this point, like the rest of my main team. And thus, the second Noble was beaten. Now at Cobalt Coastlands, I ironhead my way through Irida with a well-overpowered Gyarados. I have a very important conversation.
We got Electrode, right? Then we got Hisuian Electrode. So you got 2 big balls right there. Your main balls. Would we also count Golem as a ball? Because he is mostly ball. Would we count Tangela as a ball? Just like a... kind of like a hairy ball type thing. I'm just struggling to think of my Pokemon balls, you know? Wait. Catch a very important Pokemon? No way. There's no way. Alright, you better stay in that. God. That almost got scary. I did not want that running from me.
Get to Basculegion and catch a Magmar before I ended stream for the day. At this point, I can tell you about one of my secrets to success in this event thus far. Something I've only done off-stream as to keep the information to myself, and can only be attempted once Basculegion is unlocked. This Alpha Magikarp in Obsidian Fieldlands. It is so convenient as a grinding strat. First off, it's level 55, so for lower level Pokemon it is a decent XP grinding spot. But being a Magikarp, which is one of the weaker Pokemon out there, the XP falls off fast as you get into the mid-level 30s, which feeds into its main purpose, farming for grit. This level 55 alpha Pokemon drops so much grit dust, gravel, and sometimes stones, it's ridiculous. And being a static alpha, if you rest for a full in-game day or leave and return to the Fieldlands, it will always be there. But the best part of it all is that Magikarp only knows Splash. So it is 100% risk-free. And even before the Arcanine fight, some of my more important Pokemon were sitting at grit level 9s. Truly nutty. Truly nutty. Needless to say, I was confident in the strength of my Pokemon. I was so over-prepared that everything has been so easy thus far. And I'd say I got way too overconfident. I began to ignore the details and disrespect the difficulty of this game. My next stream, I picked up on Fire Spit Island, with the Misfortune Sisters fight up first. I had my Magmar ready. However, you might notice one of those details that I ignored until it became a problem. It is raining on Fire Spit Island. Rain happens to decrease the power of fire-type moves, But with Abominus's 4 times weakness to fire, it surely won't matter, right? Oh shit, it did. It did. That is not great. Yeah, so taking damage there isn't good. Now, Magmar is usually faster than Toxicroak, but they're in a similar speed tier. So if Toxicroak has a speed boosting nature, it could outspeed and kill. Luckily, that doesn't happen though. And Fred can Zen Headbutt Toxicroak into oblivion. The final and most difficult Misfortune Sister leads with Rhydon. And like last time, the plan is to have our big barrel Water Pulse the Rhydon and crunch the Gengar. Except this time, the Hypnosis lands. But I'll just fight through it. Foot is so strong and bulky, I've already won. Damn!
Alright, that's one death.
So yeah, overconfidence kills. My Deathless run is a bust now, but if I can keep it at 1, I'll still beat the competition. Time to focus up.
R.I.P. Foot. Thank you for carrying us thus far. Randall, you have to be boxed. You're above level cap. I think we have to go with Dante's balls here.
I go into the Arcanine fight sans Randall, since he overleveled. But my team of decent water types would be able to handle it. Mainly Tim, because they resist both of Arcanine's stab moves. Overall, just as easy with or without the required battle. Raising our level cap to 40 for Melee. This Melee fight is not hard. I just want to show him getting beat. What is hard is my Is This Ingo fight. I had to really over-prepare my team because I couldn't let this fight turn into a disaster like last time. Look at them. They look ready. Bird is my lead this time around, and the Aerial Ace picks up a clean KO. Then, something huge happens. Tangela misses Stun Spore. Even crazier yet, it misses again. And Bird has just gone through 2 of 3 Pokemon. Gliscor hurts Bird enough to not want to take a chance, so in comes your mom to finish him off. The second Melee battle, I'm sorry to admit, is actually pretty tough. I'd say it's the second hardest battle in the game. What makes it hard is he uses 3 Pokemon at the same time, and it gets worse. His Zubat knows Hypnosis to make your Pokemon drowsy. His Scorpy knows Bite, which puts your Pokemon lower in the initiative order, and his Skuntank has decent coverage and can poison you, which pairs with Scorpy's other move, Venoshock. So there's always a very real threat of just not getting a single attack off and losing a Pokemon through some combination of losing turns and taking huge hits. But I just needed faith that my plan would work out. I opted to take down Zubat first. I fear losing several turns from drowsiness, more than I fear losing a turn from Bite. And thank God we didn't get poisoned, because that Venoshock would have hurt. We got lucky, and I don't have to lose a turn from Bite either. Yeah, that Scorpy is dead. And at this point, it's just as easy as the first Melee battle. Fourth Noble coming up next. The Bullet Hell Lord of the Highlands himself. The most difficult part of the Electrode battle was finding a group of Pokemon that could both survive any hits from this thing's frankly ridiculous moves, and also hit the thing for any notable damage. I only found 3. Roselia, Overquill, and the Pokemon I ended up using successfully, Scizor. Scizor can just barely survive Thunder, if it even connects, and it's a near guaranteed KO with a super effective Stab X Scissor. The bullet hell proceeds without issue. Mostly. Only one Noble remained in this hardcore run. It was all going more smoothly than I expected. Soon, Commander Kamado would give me my next mission, to quell the final Noble's frenzy. The hell was that? Alright. It's starting to feel like something is in the game, messing with me. It's trying its damn best to get to me. To scare me away from this competition. But I won't be dissuaded. No amount of ghosts or shirtless men will stand in my way. Warden Sabi, with her 3 disgustingly strong Pokemon all at once, would be one of the most difficult fights in the game, if not for the one Pokemon I could find that can perfectly counter all 3. Toes the Garchomp makes her appearance, and because of her great speed, is able to move first and make use of a strong style Earth Power, a super effective special attack against a specially weak Rhyperior. Really the only way to reliably KO that monster. Without Rhyperior, Sabi can't hit Garchomp for any sort of respectable damage. Electivire only knows electric moves, which can't hit a ground type, and Magmortar's only attacking move is resisted by Garchomp's dragon typing. I'm not sure if there's any other Pokemon in this game that can solo this Sabi fight, but it was a puzzle I'm glad I solved. The Avalugg fight is the exact same as the last run. It's still more convenient to battle, but now we have to do it. Blurg can still overwhelm it with super effective bullet punches, like it's not close at all, really. But if I had to use a backup, your mom, toes, and feet could all hit Avalugg's pitiful special defense stat for crazy super effective damage. And it's slow enough to switch them in without losing a turn either. And so goes our final Noble of the hardcore run. The endgame commences, and I begin my preparations for the upcoming Benny and Kamado fights. But first, I'll tell you another of my preferred grinding spots. One that saved me many hours of grinding, and because of that, allowed me to do as much as I did during this event. This row of Blissey and Chansey in Alabaster Icelands. Blissey Row, as it were. Do you know how much experience a level 60 Blissey gives? A lot. Like, a lot. Now, what if there were anywhere from 2 to 5 of them in a row at any given time and they respawn consistently? Do you know how fast you could level your team up to the level cap? And the only catch is you have to backstrike them so they don't flee. It's absurd, really. You know what else is absurd? Huh? Alright, boys, you know what this means. We cannot catch this thing. Because of Dupe's Claws, so... Oh well, missed it. Also, I got another Spiritomb. At last, Benny. His offensively focused team gives me very little room for error. Any mistake or bit of bad luck could cost me a Pokemon. His lead, Mismagius, is a speedy special attacker with one of the best offensive typings, which leaves me to fight it with raw stats in a defensive god, Hisuian Gudra. Feat the Gudra can tank a Shadow Ball and set up shelter, a move that raises its already good defenses and obscures itself on top of that. Now, Ironhead in this scenario does two things. Firstly, it lowers Magius's initiative to save us some damage. It more importantly won't kill in one hit. And Benny is forced to use his max potion early. Once we get 2 turns in a row, I set up shelter again, so I have the defense for the Sneasler that comes next. Sneasler is crazy strong, and with a stab close combat, you could take down a lot of my Pokemon in one hit. But with the defense boost on top of Feat's bulk, it should be able to survive even a super effective close combat. But the miss is very appreciated, sticking to the plan despite this good luck. Bird is able to tank a hit, Agile Roost to get back a bit of HP, then make use of Sneasler's defense drop to KO with a strong style Aerial Ace. Then, Gardevoir makes its appearance. This is terrible. Enemy trainers only use Agile style when they get another turn after. Bird can't take 2 seconds in a row. Maybe I shouldn't have gone for the sure kill with strong style. Maybe I could have prevented another death. So long, Bird. Benny throws his golden opportunity away, and now Lord can just destroy Gardevoir with bullet punches. And Gallade is of course no match for Toes. Komodo should be much less of a threat. Feat has a great matchup against his first 2 Pokemon, and should get us all the way to his 3rd. That Braviary rocked my shit. Oh my god. Now, your mom has to take on Snorlax and get hit with rocks. You can't take another one of those on top of the Stealth Rock's chip damage, so Toes handles it with an Earth Power and is face to face with Komodo's final Pokemon, the Fairy-type Clefable, now boosted by Calm Mind. Could it get any worse? Yeah, stood no chance against my dragons. Once again, I stand before a god and capture it so I can fight another god. This time, with a required battle. So, I had to stall for a long time just to battle Palkia. Like, it's so difficult to not beat it before you get the chance to send in a Pokemon. Then, the time finally arrives. Lord will be the first to stand against a god, and the first to slay a god. Lord once again proves why he carries this team, this time landing a critical hit on an agile X-Scissor, which let him solo this fight. The original plan was to use most of the team after a good hit or 2 from Lord, likely finishing off Palkia with your mom or Feat. But he went even further beyond, just for us, bringing me into the final stretch. With the level cap raised to 70 for the Bolo fight, my team was sitting at level 68 before even starting the next stream. And with my grinding methods, I was leveled up fast. Nothing could slow me down at this point. My plan was going to get me through this run with just 1 measly death. That is, if I followed my plan.
Alright, that's...
I once again let my overconfidence blind
what I was afraid of, but...
I wasn't supposed to use Bird in that Vespiquen fight. It was meant to be Feet. The Pokemon who could tank those hits the best. And I paid the price for it. Doubling my death count with yet another mistake. But I swore it would be the last mistake I made for the rest of this event.
Oh well.
I capture the final piece of my plan and assemble the ultimate team to destroy Volo. And of course, Cresselia ends up soloing Volo again. That really is my best strategy for this fight. Cresselia's insane bulk and the combination of Lunar Blessing and Calm Mind are really just that absurd. There's nothing really he can do with even super effective attacks. The most technical thing about this strategy is when Cresselia is obscured, Giratina doesn't like the chance of missing, so it opts for the weaker and resisted Aura Sphere instead of the Shadow Force sometimes. Just sometimes, though. Now, with less than a week remaining, I had finally completed my hardcore run. As simple as my plans were in this run, that does not mean this hardcore run was easy. Far from it, actually. This game is brutal. With this battle system different from any other Pokemon game thus far, any encounter can quickly get out of hand. A single unassuming Pokemon can punch way above its weight and KO yours. So there's no room at all for elaborate and clean strategies that tiptoe around enemies' AI. The plans had to be simple and flexible, because Plan A will fail, often, but needing to find and rely on a Plan B, C, D, and so on for when it did fail is what made this hardcore run a great and rewarding challenge. And you saw what happened when I did not follow my plans. I got punished because I forgot to respect the difficulty of this game as a Nuzlocke. Which brings me to the final phase of my master plan. Like I said before, defending my hardcore title is not enough. This year I want it all. The award stream is just days away, and it's mine for the taking. Soon, all of my efforts will be recognized by hundreds. I need to prove myself and show them what I'm really capable of. It's time to break my own limits and push even further beyond what Nuzlocke&Load was meant to be. I have one more task left to finish, and no one will stop me. In just a few days, I had to blaze a trail and rush through the game one final time. I looked over my run guide, ripped away the extra prep and safety measures, ignored most encounters, focusing only on the bare minimum, and left the rest to chance. Never before had I moved through the game so fast, taking down Noble after Noble, sacrificing the Pokemon who outlived their purpose just to save a few minutes. And on the third day, I reached Volo. At 15 hours and 25 minutes, I would fall to one stupid mistake. I had entirely forgotten the obedience mechanic. Something that was looking me in my face the entire month and a half playing this game. And I ignored it until it was too late. but I did nominate this fight for the Biggest Mistake Award. The day or two after my final failure of a run marked the end of Nuzlocke&Load 3. It was time. All of it was leading up to this. All of my planning, my dedication, my countless hours of work, and just the right amount of desperation put into this event for one reason: the Nuzlocke&Load award stream. I never got that Twitch alert. The day went on and the stream never happened. But later on was a notification on Discord. It was the awards results. But why? Why just in a Discord post? What happened? Well, it turned out Whistler, the guy who made this event and was running it, got a really good job and would pursue that instead of streaming. Genuinely, really happy for the guy. He deserves it 100%. So, this is looking like the final Nuzlocke&Load. A wonderful event that brought so many good people together. And I'm so thankful to have competed in this event with so many good people. I wish them all the best. Yeah, not the climactic finale I was hoping for. I took quite a few awards, but not all of them that I was setting out to get. And that's understandable. The point of the event is to celebrate everyone, not just one guy who happens to be crazy. But the truth is too reasonable, wouldn't you think? I need something fictional to crash out over. An opposing force to match the loose narrative of myself being an over-competitive madman that I've crafted over the last 2 videos. Perhaps I need some all-powerful, conspiratorial force to thwart me when I've gone too far. When, in reality, I don't really care, and I am happy others got their well-deserved recognition for their hard work. So, here it goes. I killed Nuzlocke&Load. It was me. I shot for the stars, and I wiped them from the sky. Not in a beautiful supernova, but in a silent whimper, like a candle flame being blown out. And of course, I'm doing the blowing. I devoted too much energy. I took too much glory. My award stream takeover forced their hand. They had to take it away from everyone. They had to take away my accomplishments. And it was all because of me. I crushed the spirit of Nuzlocke&Load so bad it ended the event forever. Who's they? Don't you see it? It's so obvious. The signs are all there. They've been here the whole time, trying to thwart me at every step. It's 5 guys. They thought I wouldn't notice the Coronet Highlands when I failed all those encounters, the subtle scent of grease and cooked meat. But I picked up on that tricky little maneuver. I didn't miss them. They scared them off. And they even went as far as ruining my deathless hardcore run. Don't believe me? Well, listen to this. 5 Guys opened in 1986. If you turn the 86 upside down, it's now 98. I was born in 1998. So, it means they're connected to me in a negative way. And this entire video was a nothing burger. Nothing burger? Yeah. And you know who sells burgers? 5 Guys. And my hardcore run, it was my 5th run in the event. run number 5, that run saw several strange anomalies. It was almost possessed by the supernatural. In Supernatural, Season 5, Episode 5, one of the forms of a killer pagan god was Abraham Lincoln, who was famous for hunting vampires. Vampires are known to be evil, immortal undead, with a reputation for being in terrible movies. And in Hotel Transylvania, the famous vampire, Dracula, was played by none other than Adam Sandler. And what? Recommended videos? Don't you dare end this video on me. I haven't even gotten to the part about how Bass Pro Shops was